can't seem to do it because it's like not touched at all. Hey guys, it's Sarah and welcome back to a new video, and I'm finally doing the Etude House Personal Palettes first impression review. Now, I haven't touched this at all since I hauled it, and you know, I really wanted to do a first impression, so I've kept it on hold. I am going to do this first impression a little different. I am starting off with no makeup. I'm going to start building up my whole makeup look through these products, and you know, as we go on I will explain and give you my opinion and, you know, impression of these products. So yeah, let's get started. So the first product I'm going to do today is the Personal Color Contouring Palette. Now this is the cream texture type. I bought the cream texture, but there also is a powder type. For me, I don't know why I chose cream when I'd rather prefer powder, but I think I wanted to go for something a little different. So here in the palette you have 6 cream products. You have a highlighter, a brightening shade, a blush. This is originally a nose contouring shade, but obviously compared to my skin tone, it doesn't work as a nose contouring shade, so I'd rather use this as a concealer. And then you have 2 shading shades here, one more in the warm tone and one in the more cool tone. So these are the 6 products that you get, and at the back they each have names. So number 1 here is Sunshine, number 2 is True Cream, number 3 is Rose Blush, and number 4 is Honey Beige, number 5 is Coffee Shade, and number 6 is Woody Shaper. And also in the palette you have this little plastic sleeve that has diagrams of face shapes, and you know, it gives you an idea of how to contour your face depending on your face shape. So that's something that's quite helpful. So today my face makeup is going to be all cream based. I could, you know, swatch it immediately from the palette, but if you guys remember from the haul, I also purchased the little mixing palette, so I'm going to try that today. And I'm going to start off today with the nose contouring shade, but I'll be using that as my face makeup. I just want to see how the consistency is. I have the product here, and I'm going to just spread a little bit, get an even coat on my brush, which is the Real Techniques foundation brush. And now I am going to apply the concealer shade. So first application, it's actually really creamy. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing yet, we'll see. Me, I have a lot of fine lines on my under eyes, so creasing always happens. So I tend to set my under eyes with concealer and my eyelids. But today, you know, there's no primer, there's no setting powder. We're gonna be testing this out all by itself, so let's just see. Now I'm going to conceal the sides of my nose, especially the redness. I'm not going to conceal my entire face with this shade. I'm just going to do, you know, certain areas to just reduce the amount of product I apply on my face. So apply the rest onto my nose. Because I will be doing nose contouring, I don't really bother in applying a lot of product besides the tip, because my nose tends to be a lot red from the bottom. I think the amount of product that I got is actually pretty good. So again, concealing the redness on my chin, a little bit here on the sides of my nose, sides of my lips. Where else should I conceal? I might conceal a little bit, just using whatever's left. On this palette there isn't much left. Just conceal the redness here a little bit, and a little bit from the brows on top. So far, so good, I think. Now, next I'll be using this shade here, which is the cool tone shading shade. I think for me personally, I look better with more cool tone shades. So I'm going to be using this rather than the warm tone. So I only pick up around this much of product, and when I apply it onto the palette, it seems to be a decent amount. I am going to start contouring my face. I always start with the jaw. Can you even see that? Okay, that's weird. Reminder, this palette only has, you know, 2 options. They don't have any shade selections in the palette, so whatever is in the palette is what you get, and it's the same for everyone. And this shading shade doesn't seem to really make much of a difference on me. But what I'm getting from this palette, my throat, is that using this palette by itself isn't really the best. I mean, on camera it might look like it's giving me the best coverage, but in person I can still see everything. And reminder, I didn't put any foundation, so I think this palette would work best if you actually had a proper base foundation on, so the product could just like sit on top. For me, it looks almost like nothing, but you can see it a bit. There's still hope. The more I look at it, the more I actually see it now, so yeah, not bad. So now we're going to contour the nose, and this part is crucial for me, so let's not stuff this up, please. Okay, on the nose it works a lot better because it's more of a natural shade for my skin tone. I don't know if that looks okay. I can't really tell anymore. Blend that out with a sponge. Now I'm going to use the matte brightener, and I'm going to use that as a highlight. So this time I'm going to use my fingers because I am applying this to my face. It's fine. And I'm going to apply this onto the nose bridge of my nose and my forehead. Blending it with your fingers, it blends really smoothly. The way it sits on the skin without any primer, just basic skincare, is actually pretty good as well. It's not patching up or anything. And I guess with this cream formula, it's not that one that's just like, that gives you that greasy feeling. Like, it's a decent formula. That's what I wanted to say. So now I'm applying the same, this is more yellow tone, so it's perfect for the under eyes, this brightener. So I'm going to apply this on top of my previous concealer just to help really brighten the area up and kind of hide the blue purple undertones. Bring that to the inner corners as well. Okay, for blush you don't need a lot because you're only applying it to one area of the face. So this blush is fairly light pink. So this is how the blush looks like on my hand. It's more on the kind of, you know, it's supposed to be a rosy blush, but against me it's gonna look more like a light coral blush. So I'm just applying that here, just in between the areas where you would contour and highlight. So applying it. Now when it comes to blush, if you keep it on the outer perimeters of your face, like on the outer corner of your eyes to your sides of your face, it does give you a more mature sculpted look, while if you keep it here in between the eyes, it gives you a more youthful look. But for me and for my face shape, I prefer it on the outer part only. Sometimes I would apply my blush pretty much everywhere, but lately I've been keeping it out from the outer corner just to kind of give my face shape a little bit more, you know, dimension and structure to it. This blush is actually pretty good. What I like about these cream products is that sometimes with cream products, when you overlay, it tends to get really patchy, and sometimes you're removing the, you know, bottom layer and all that. But this is actually working pretty well by itself, and it sits well on the skin, and it adheres pretty well on the skin as well, so far so good. I guess as you kind of start learning how to use the products, it gets easier. Notice on the side I tend to bring my blush down just to the middle, so I'm gonna have to do the same and bring it to the middle. Basically that's it for blush. I won't do anything else. So last one is the Shimmer Highlight. I'm not too fond of this based on my personal preference, so I'm just going to apply this pretty much on my nose, cupid's bow, and the high points of my cheeks to highlight. So let's just try it out. I'm going to apply this here. Okay, now when you see it on camera, it looks really nice because it's pretty shimmery, right? But I'm still kind of hesitant about this. Okay, well on camera it's giving you a really nice glow. And reminder, I'm not someone who goes too crazy about highlight, but okay. I see how this cream is going. I kind of like it. I think for me, I would only use this on my nose, to be honest, because I only like highlighting my nose, if that makes sense. I think we're good. So that's basically it. Of course, I'll still have to like test it out and see how great it works in terms of its performance and longevity, but in terms of application and how it applies and the pigmentation, it's actually not bad. So if you're someone who prefers a more fuller base and complexion, I'd suggest that you start off with your usual foundation first, and then you can use the palette on top to just add more coverage and definition and structure to your face. By itself, it's actually pretty good. If your skin is pretty clear, then I guess it's kind of safe to just use this by itself, because it still, you know, adds coverage, but at the same time you can still kind of see your natural skin underneath. So I personally like that because I don't want to go too heavy when I'm using cream products, but if you are someone who prefers a more full coverage, then definitely go for it. This palette overall, it's pretty good. So that's my first impression on the contouring palette. So now it's onto the eyes, but before I get onto the eyes, I will have my brows done, so you know,